out of it instead of every 2 months. I mean, going into it, just let it keep building up. Um, and eventually, there'll be enough built up to where I can just pay off all the credit cards, which doesn't mean I'm not going to keep using them or my wife is not going to keep using them, but and not even have to pull anything out of the checking account. Just pay it from the interest on the um, high interest savings. Yeah, we've got another savings account. Well, I've got one. We've got a joint savings account, which has got more than enough money to cover all this stuff. But it only gets about 50 cents a month interest on it. I'm going, I could move all of that over to the other one, but since it's a shared account, when Lindsay needs extra money,
Yeah.
I can move stuff around and it's real easy. I can do it all online. And if anything happens to me, she's got that. She can empty out plus power of attorney to empty my checking account and my personal savings account into that joint savings account. And she's also got power of attorney to get to not only my pension because she's my beneficiary, but the high interest savings account.
Good.
Yeah, we just had our wills made out last month, month before that, I forget when. She's been after me to do it for months, and I thought it would be so complicated. Nope, we just told the lawyer what we wanted, and about a week later, went in and signed everything, and he gave us copies to go to the courthouse that were sealed copies that are only ever going to be opened if anything happens to either one of us. And we've got our own personal copies in a lockbox, which is supposed to be fireproof, but I bought it at Walmart. I don't know whether or not it's really fireproof,
If
but
anything gets hot enough on the inside, it's
yeah.
going to burn. But yeah,
So she's
no.
much more comfortable now. 6 weeks ago, she tripped over the dog in the hallway and broke her collarbone.
I remember that. Yeah.
Well, you remember she used to be a nurse?
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine how much trouble I've been having to get her to take care of herself.
Hmm.
She's always, she has continually been overexerting herself instead of, honey, keep your sling on, sit in a lazy boy, watch your soap operas. It's only 6 weeks. It's not like you were going to college again.
Uh, that reminds me, breaking my arm, well, my elbow, um, while in the middle of renovating my apartment in
Mm.
2023. What do you mean I can't paint with my arm plastered up? I get another one.
Haven't
Actually,
y'all heard of spray paint? Uh,
that was nice. We actually did have a good floor, so I didn't want to ruin it.
yeah, I
It's
can
a lot.
see that. Um well, once we get the termites eradicated, we'll have a good floor.
Good.
Living room, dining room, bathroom, and hallway. Of course, the hallway means I've got to empty out two bookshelves, and one of them is screwed to the wall.
Of course it is.
Yes, because I built it. And I
You, you
don't
don't
want to
want
be.
those things falling over.
I do not want to be walking down the hallway and 10,000 paperback books fall on my head.
Uh, I had to explain to Luz why, like, so in the living room, she has a very old bookshelf, which is um, concrete blocks from the 70s with straight planks on it. Works. I got nothing to say on that. What I do have something to say on is her going, yeah, it's gonna be strong, like it's gonna be sturdy, like as a house. Like I can put whatever on it. I'm like, no, the top shelves you're going to anchor down to the wall. Why? Because we have a toddler coming up that is going to want to climb it. No, she doesn't. Look, it can go wrong. It can go right 1,000 times. It's not about the 1,000 times it goes right. It's about the one time it goes wrong. It's the same reason I'm closing up the downstairs staircase. So the one from the like from the first floor to the attic, is already closed up. So they got planks behind the stairs. Downstairs it doesn't. And Luce is like, yeah, well, it's gonna be very dark behind it. I'm like, nobody cares. That door is open 99% of the time. Close it off because it's gonna go wrong once. It's the
Hmm.
single time it's going to matter. She disagrees. I don't care.
Really, I've got my entertainment center that I built myself with an L-shaped shelf bracket anchored into wall studs and anchored into the back of the entertainment center.
Yeah.
That sucker's not coming over. It ain't moving.
No,
I mean,
because the
I don't care. There's two shelves of vinyl records on the bottom, keeping it mostly stable. I've
oh,
also got I've also got four um, 1970s era stereo speakers up there that I've had to replace the speakers in the cabinets 2 or 3 times in my lifetime. But those things are heavy.
yeah,
So if that thing ever starts to wobble, there's enough weight on it to where basically if you see it start moving, you just jump back and yell timber.
yeah. No, like
Why
don't
take
take
a
those risks.
chance?
No,
Why
exactly.
take a chance? No, Lindsay hates it because those L brackets, she can't see them anywhere unless she tries to look behind the entertainment center where all the wires are. She
Well,
can't
that's
see the
they're supposed to
brackets.
be. Yeah, like
It's
that's what
just
it's supposed to be.
it's secure. All the bookshelves that I built have been um anchored into wall studs. Um, the only things that are not anchored into the wall are shelves I built to go with the fireplace, and they're not very tall.
Mhm.
And they are built with a slight tilt on the floor so that they actually tend to
Yeah.
lean backwards rather than forwards. And we don't have any children in the house. Sometimes we'll have a grandchild come over.
Still, it's but
Oh,
like
yeah.
if someone leaves on it the wrong way, right? Even if you're an adult, if that bookcase is coming down, you're not going to be happy about it.
No. Especially not when Lindsay's got a bad habit of covering every spare inch of shelf space in the house with glassware.
Oh yeah, okay. No, like
Yeah.
it's the same with like with the library bookcase I made for Lucy in the apartment. She's like, why do we have to anchor it to the floor? It's going to be anchored to the ceiling. I'm like, the ceiling doesn't anchor anything. Like um They're plaster sheets. Like there's nothing holding that thing if we put it there.
No, and it's no use anchoring something to the wall if you don't find the studs in the wall to put your anchors in.
Oh no, we have concrete. It's
Oh, okay.
yeah, like unless you're living very old in a very old house, you're gonna find concrete everywhere. Um, so yeah, like this whole house is concrete. Our old apartment was concrete. Um, we have very little wood left because we like our privacy and we don't live in Amsterdam. Because the old houses that are over 100 years old are completely made out of wood except for the outside. Amsterdam or The Hague or just older cities.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this is from the 70s, I think. Concrete, probably like even prefab pieces of concrete just slapped into one another.
And masonry nails are not that expensive.
No.
No, this house was built, I think it was the early 60s, and it was built by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, which is a U.S. government program.
So
When I
it's cheap.
first, oh yes, it's definitely cheap. Um, I had to replace some bits and pieces of the floor before. I got down to the subfloor and I realized this thing is made out of spare parts from other construction jobs. It's put
Yeah.
together like a jigsaw puzzle.
If we take off an inch of that, it's gonna fit here. Yeah.
Pretty much, it's made out of scraps. Um, it serves us well, or it had until we found out we had termites. But um, no, we had a copper pipe spring a leak underneath the house, and the floor started sagging. I fixed that. Got to say hello to all my Black Widow spider friends that live under the house.
Different hobbies.
No, it's not a hobby. It's coexistence. I won't bother y'all if you don't bother me.
Yeah, no, like don't mess with that.
Nope, nope. Especially when I'm crawling under a floor joist that I could just barely clear. Matter of fact, there are places where it's the house is built on a slope and there's no
Mhm.
basement. It's just crawl space. The further you get uphill, the less
Of
room you
course.
got to crawl. You finally wind up laying on your back, inching your way across the plastic uh, uh, moisture barrier membrane and going, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I'm getting too fat. Uh, I've had to do it a few times to. There was once when I had to um rewire the telephone system under the house. Otherwise, it would have cost a bundle to have the phone company come out and do
Mhm.
the work. And all it was four wires on one end and four wires on the other. But
Oh
it
yeah.
went it went from the downhill end all the way up to the uphill end. And I've also had to replace some copper pipe in other places that had sprung leaks. And now I've got PEX pipe replacing as much of the copper as I can that had sprung a leak. It's just a matter of time before the rest of the copper goes. Because,
Oh yeah.
yeah, and there's
It can
bits and
go one bit
pieces
at
of,
a time.
yeah, that way I can not only afford it, but course, you've got to catch the leaks early before they do any more damage.
Oh yeah.
Well, there was one leak that went on for quite a while, and we never knew about it until the floor started sagging. So I got in there, shut all the water off from the pump, um, started putting in the PEX pipe and using shark bite connectors where
Hmm.
you don't have to use a torch or anything to solder things in place. It just slides on. You tap it a couple of times with a rubber mallet, put the next piece in, tap it a couple of times with a rubber mallet, just keep on going. Um, I've got enough to redo all of the copper pipe in the house eventually.
Yeah, it doesn't have to
But
be done in one day.
no, I mean, I could have, but for some reason, I'm of the old school that says if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Hmm. Look, you're gonna just ask for more trouble than.
Uh huh. And the only real problem is to the spigot on the front of the house and the back of the house. They're a smaller diameter than all the main plumbing. So I'm going to have to get special
Yeah,
connectors and the right diameter stuff.
that's just a matter of finding the right ones. It's not too
Yeah,
bad.
basically go to the your favorite hardware store's website, type in what you're looking for, find out what aisle it's in, what bay it's stored in, drive out there and pick it up. Oh, that's what that is. I wondered what this annoying whining sound was.
Your phone going off, or is it a dog needing attention? Ah,
Yeah,
those make annoying noises too.
it was up in the 80s today, so rather than turn the air conditioner on,
Yeah.
I just got this little fan to keep my office cool or keep me cool in my office. Six of one, half a dozen of the other.
No, I'm glad I live in a rental because these are by housing corporations that are by law obligated to fix things for you. And so you don't have a landowner going, what do you mean it needs fixing? Um,
Mm,
or having to pay for it all myself, which, at the moment, Luz and I really cannot. Um, and we made them run for their money when we moved in. Well, Luz did especially. Hi, this is broken. Yeah, but why do you care? Because it is broken and therefore you're obligated to fix it. Huh. Because the old people, the people that lived in here previously, and this house moved owners like for a couple of times in the last 10 years, from what I understand.
yeah.
They completely worked at the house for 3 months, and then the guy moved in with his girlfriend in a city a little further out. So everything on the first floor was looking decent, wasn't looking great. They kind of did half a decent job. Um, but the attic was, uh, yeah, pretty much empty. They had this wall in, they had this room that they made, um, like, got laminate flooring and anything. But in front of the attic where you walk up, there was no flooring. There was um, really nothing. So that took a lot of extra. We painted everything. We put in the bookshelves and everything. Um, the kitchen has 3 extra cabinets because we were lacking space. Luce and I both love to cook.
Mm.
We did not have the space to put everything that we have. So up until 2 weeks ago, we had 4 boxes still filled with kitchen stuff that we could not get rid of. Um, and we had to pay for those. And we're like, we don't like this kitchen. It's too low for us. Like she and I both are tall people, and it's got a very low countertop. And instead of cabinets, they had 2 cabinets with planks in between. We did not have enough storage space for that, so like that had to go. And we went. Well, I went. Look, we can make a kitchen now. Like we can get a kitchen now that is completely to our taste, what we think is our taste. If we wait 2 years, we're gonna walk. Like we're gonna hit so many little things that will annoy us. We write those down, and then we get a kitchen that actually fits us.
Um, I'm about 5'11", and Lindsay is about 5'1", 5'2". So while I can reach the upper shelves in all the kitchen cabinets,
Yeah.
she has to have a stepladder, and she still hates it
Hmm.
because she's definitely deathly afraid of falling off a ladder at 65 years old. So
Yes, that makes
that makes
sense.
that makes perfect sense. And although we can't just lower the cabinets, and we certainly can't do without those too high upper shelves.
Hmm.
Um, I I bought a little, almost like a wardrobe cabinet,
Hmm.
but it's kind of tall and skinny for her to put extra stuff in.
Yeah, it works.
Well, she insisted I use it for a liquor cabinet. It was full of empty bottles, and finally I got a liquor cabinet, glass fronted liquor cabinet, and she's not yet adjusted to the fact that it doesn't have to be in that one that she wanted it to be a liquor cabinet. I'm going, honey, this is where you put all this stuff that you couldn't reach because it's not tall enough to give you a
Yeah.
problem.
No, like um, the previous owners or the ones before that, honestly, I don't really care. Um, they made a countertop that spreads the entire kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
whereas the housing corporation is just going to give you 6 feet with 3 cabinets at the bottom, 3 cabinets at the top, and that's it.
Now that's not enough for anybody. I
It,
couldn't have
it
been able. I couldn't have been able to live with that as a bachelor.
Well, okay, so here it's a standard, but then again, here kitchens and housing is pretty small. Look, we're the Netherlands. We're a tiny country. You don't have the space for it. That being said, um, the cabinets that we have here are smaller than we had back in Cromany. They are not as deep, and the countertop is now 15 feet long. So only 3 cabinets at no 4 cabinets at the bottom. But next to it, we have our oven, we have our dishwasher, and on top, because we don't use 4 meters of countertop, we have a extra freezer that would normally be in the darn it word in the shed.
Mm.
So like we don't hate this kitchen. It's just not made for us. Um, but yeah, like I'm just gonna let it be what it is. until we're actually switching to a kitchen that fits us, because have we have a giant house now compared to what we had. Like, there's an open kitchen and the living room. The living room is the same size as the one in Cromony, with the kitchen being twice as big and completely connected to it. We had a huge dinner table that was extendable. We couldn't extend it because like the living room wasn't wide enough.
Mm.
We extended it here, and it's still looking like a tiny table. Our bedroom right now is the same size as Lucy's entire apartment when she was living on her own back in Amsterdam. Um, we're not complaining. We got an adult people house.
Yeah,
Like,
seriously. The one thing that I dislike is um, Lindsay wants to change the um, L-shaped kitchen cabinet, or not kitchen cabinet, but countertop. She wants something that matches the one that I have been using as a bar top since before we got together. They no longer make that color.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That
that
was the problem with our kitchen too.
she's going to have to make up her mind about what color and pattern she wants on it. And I'm going, honey, I'd be satisfied with half a sheet of plywood stretched across a couple of cabinets and not have anything anchored down. But yeah, um, we'll just have to see how all this goes. She'll have to pick out a totally new color, something that's in production, and we get everything that matches the way she wants it to match. And then I'll probably take the one that I've been using as a bar top, put it out in my barn, in my workshop, and set it up where I can put my drill press and other stuff out there. I'm wanting to put solar panels on the roof and get a power bank that plugs the solar panels just plug directly into it,
Hmm.
and it's got a couple of outlets and everything. I wouldn't need much electricity at a time. I'm not going to live in the barn. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, it's big enough, but no.
No, we need insulation.
Oh, that's easy enough.
Yeah, but a pain to get in there. I mean, if it's not, look, you got a perfectly able house. Why would you? Why would you like? But no, that was a problem with our kitchen too. Like, the kitchen is from 2013. We found out, and we immediately heard, yeah, we don't have that color anymore. We don't even have those handles anymore.
Mhm.
Look, we don't care. Get us 3 kitchen cabinets. We don't care if they're white. We don't care if they're black. Just something in there. Well, the cheapest one is going to be white with these handles. Fine. Plop them in there. So that took 8 weeks. So that was an additional 8 weeks of boxes in the living room that we did not want. Um, but fair enough. And they put them in, and actually they're fine. Like, if you didn't know better, you would have thought like, yeah,
They were
they're part of the
custom
kitchen.
built in.
Yeah,
Oh,
but yeah, we're gonna give it 2 years, and then we're gonna make a pretty kitchen that fits us. Um, because yeah, we're not planning on moving. We weren't planning on moving it from Cromony, but life happened. But
yeah,
it,
as it so often does.
yeah,
Uh,
but like here we can put down a um, hospital bed in the living room and still have space to walk around.
well, what I normally do, I'll get the unfinished cabinets and stain them myself And then what I did the last time I was doing anything with it, I made it single cabinet on one side, double cabinet on the other, lay the countertop across it, put a beer fridge underneath it, tall dorm fridge, basically.
Yeah.
And the only thing I object to in this house is it was wired up in the wrong era. There are not enough outlets. And to add more outlets, you would be straining the existing circuit breakers,
Uh-huh.
which calls for an electrical contractor to come out and fix all that to make sure the house doesn't catch on fire. So yeah, if I was building this place on my own, um, before they ever laid the floor down, they'd have done the termite control
Uh-huh.
and had a service out here every year to, basically reload. And then there'd have been 2 to 3 times as many electrical outlets in the office and about the same in the kitchen because you always got kitchen stuff you need to plug
Yeah.
in. Um,
Yeah.
the last new stove we bought,
Oh dear.
she didn't shop by the size of the existing cutout in the countertop.
To be fair, yeah, that's one of those things where
It wouldn't have mattered if I had done the work, but the guys that came out were not quite craftsmen,
hmm
so they had to enlarge the cutout for the stove. They did the wiring right. I got to say that for them. They got the
uh,
wiring right, but they couldn't handle a circular saw if their life depended on it. There's gaps
oh
everywhere.
no.
Yeah, and it turns out one side of the countertop is like quarter-inch higher than the other. So on one side, the stove is level with the countertop. On the other side, it sticks up a little bit.
Oh damn
Yeah, it's just a matter of, I could take it all apart and put shims where it needs to go to make everything level, but there's no way I could recut that gap.
it. Yeah.
They just made such a mess of it. So she's definitely gonna have new kitchen counters, but she's gonna have to pick out the color scheme she actually wants, and then she'll want to match that with the one for the bar. And I don't care. It's not nailed down.
Yeah.
Neither the cabinets underneath it. They're just like the fridge. You can move them around if you want to.
Yeah. Same here. It's very easy, honestly. No, like the thing is, here you can go to IKEA, talk to somebody there, and go, "Hi, these are the measurements of my kitchen. Design something for me," and they will completely fix it. It's not going to be that expensive, and you
Hmm.
can literally do it all on your own. Like it's the easiest shit imaginable.
Yep.
Um,
Um, Half of that stuff, I don't even need the instruction sheet. I just
no,
look at it, look at the parts, and go, okay, this obviously goes here. This obviously goes here. What's this part for? Oh, that's neat. You just put it
yep,
in the hole and twist it, and it holds everything in place.
exactly. I About 4 weeks after my surgery, we put together a closet for my mother-in-law because she had two old Billy shelves that she was using for her fabric. She makes a lot of quilts. It's her thing and it's her hobby. And she does amazing things. She made a beautiful wedding quilt for Lucy and I that we use regularly because it's very comfy. And a ton of other things like she does foster care, and every single one of her foster children pretty much gets a quilt of their own.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very lucky with my mother-in-law. Um, but yeah, those billies were starting to crumble. Um, because yeah, they're old. And so we ordered a new closet that was to the sizes that she needed, and we had to put it together. And Lewis was like, "Yeah, where's the instructions?" And there's this single A4 piece of paper that did not explain things well. Thank fuck I was a mover for 3.5 years, and I had to put closets together that were way more intricate
Mm-hmm.
than this, and a lot less logical. But yeah, that those closets like the closets that make like the IKEA closets that make with like get um, um, they get dubbed the force makers. This thing was worse, and Luke and I did not last long together.
Mm.
It yeah, but like
That's one reason why I like to build my own furniture. I mean, shelves are easy. I
yeah,
don't have this. I don't have the skill to do a lazy boy, but or anything upholstery related. But bookshelves,
hmm,
basically, you're just building a ladder that isn't skinny and tall.
yeah, no, like it's um I don't have the tools for it for the most part. Um, because I lived in an apartment. Where would I put my tools? Um, but yeah, like I Luce likes to do woodworking. She does a bit of renovating for furniture and stuff like that. Which means that there's a ton of things with my mother-in-law still that are looses that need to have a touch up, and then it can be used or sold. But time and stuff and priorities.
Yep. Oh, speaking of quilts,
Hmm.
sorry to backtrack.
Yeah, no.
Uh, my mom still has a baby blanket that her sisters and her mother quilted for me and then embroidered my first name and the year I was born on it. I mean, it wasn't very big because it was for a baby, but
Yeah.
mom, mom still got that packed away and preserved. Um, and I remember lots of times barely being able to walk around in my granny's house because they had this big quilt loom set up in the living room. All they had to do is not obstruct Granddaddy's view of the football game, and they could do anything they wanted in there. But yeah, it's an old family tradition, basically, in Tennessee and Kentucky and the Carolinas, where if you need something, you make it yourself.
Yeah, no, it's um one of the things that my mother-in-law loves to collect are actual quilt magazines from the US because damn, there's some amazing stuff in there. But
Tell me about it.
no, she actually quilts like the fabrics that she patches together by hand,
Hmm.
which is insane. She actually um outsourced quilting our wedding quilt. And that was such a bad experience because the person who did it was like, she did not do a good job. Which, if you did 100 plus hours patching all kinds of fabrics together, you don't want somebody to screw up all your work with the quilting it of it.
Hmm.
So that was a shame. But
No,
yeah.
I think Granny and both of her daughters that live nearby to her, they had entire closets
Hmm.
that had nothing but little swatches of fabric, and they'd piece those out to the right shapes and pin them together and sew them, then get the batting that goes in the middle,
Oh yeah,
then get the backing, and then hand sew everything
exactly. No,
except for maybe the edging, which was straight enough and long enough to where they could do that on a sewing machine. And early in my lifetime, that was a treadle model
Mhm.
Singer sewing machine. You just sat there and pumped it like it was an air an air
Yeah.
pump, That and
No,
I've actually seen a guy on a antique furniture shop. He actually had a lathe that was powered by a
oh
treadle.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, and he would do some of the most intricate things.
Well, that's the thing. Like the thing you need is foot force, which is very very strong. People, a lot of like most people completely underestimate how strong their legs are. A flywheel, to be able to keep it going.
Hmm.
'Cause that just makes it easier. But you don't technically even need that. A piece of string to make the wood turn around, which you can just put it in. Um, and the right tools to actually cut. Like
Yeah, the
they
right
can
stuff
be
to
made
do the
very quickly
carving
and
with.
very easily.
Yeah, now Dad was a machinist, so he used very expensive, very heavy lathes and drill presses and things like that. But he could look at an old Singer treadle sewing machine or this guy's um, treadle lathe, and he understood every bit and piece that went in it.
Yeah. No, like this is sharing something real quick. So this is all you need.
Yeah,
So let's see. Yeah, they're putting it together here. But like they just have a piece of wood that is gonna be under tension, got your string, and that's just gonna be wrapped around the pole that you're cutting. And yeah,
yeah,
you
you
move
can
your
work
foot.
wonders with that.
Yeah, it works.
I mean, some of these priceless bits of antique furniture from Europe, they didn't have anything more complicated than that to work with.
And it works. Like it doesn't have to be very intricate. It doesn't have to be very high tech. Like you don't need much.
No, you just have to be careful and keep your tools sharp.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, starting to feel that I woke up at 4:45. Yeah.
Time for your second cup of coffee?
Yeah, but then I would have to go downstairs for 10 minutes, and Aurora is gonna come up in about an hour. So, and
Yeah.
I promised Lou she could sleep in today. Aurora's
I
going to Disney.
understand completely. Um, God, I couldn't even count the number of children I've helped raise, um, or grandchildren or great grandchildren. Seriously, one of my granddaughters is about to enter her senior year in high school, and I remember when she was just a little bitty toddler. Um, my niece, my sister's daughter, she's already been to art school, and she's looking for a job in animation.
Mm.
At she had her sights set on Disney or Pixar, and they should have taken a more serious look at her what she's already done while she was in college because she's got talent. Um, but no jobs were in the offing. So,
No, it's such a small pool. It's not worth it. And
mm,
while very hard to be sustainable, indie animation is where it's at right when it comes to first of all creativity
hmm
and for a big part money. The problem with indie animation is it's unsustainable. There is so much work going in that needs to be community driven. It needs to be community funded, which is one of the things I'm struggling with too. Like,
oh, I
yeah,
know.
it's just like,
Well, you do have one advantage is that you've got several people that are writing scripts, basically.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
that's the thing. Like, I only want this single one to be done because um, one, it's for me to learn what I'm doing, and it's for me to show people what Life on Korra can look like.
hmm
But um, it's just the one. Like this already has taken 3 years so far.
Yep, and it'll probably take several more.
Um, well, the thing is,
Well, I
I'm
mean,
working with
you're picking up tips and tricks so that you can
oh
shorten
yeah,
the work, but basically you're having to learn from almost nothing. Uh, um, yeah, like I'm gonna go to bed, honey. Um, she's got the bedroom absolutely packed with stuff from the living room that she doesn't want to have to take to the barn, and I'm going. I can't walk through there. That's a minefield. I'll die. I'll trip over something and break my neck.
oh dear.
Uh, it's all right. It's only temporary. Um, basically, I'll probably just sleep in my desk chair tonight, intentionally this time. Um, hey, she's asleep in the lazy boy in the living room. It's one of the few things we haven't moved. At I'm going sleep. I could probably lay down in the hallway with a pillow and I'll be fine. I've slept on granite rock before and been fine. Of course, I wasn't 67 at the time either.
It does not help.
Well, it just makes it harder to get up.
Mhm.
But I've got a walker here. I could unfold it and use it as a ladder to get up on. Um, too narrow. It's too narrow to use it. It's too wide to be used in between the bookshelves in the hallway. But if you use it sideways, you can make it. Um, I am nothing if not eminently practical. Yeah, I may be lazy, but I'm very practical. Um, and she does not understand the the craftsman mentality. She thinks all this stuff is easy, you know.
Oh,
And I'm going, no, honey. Not only do I have to have the trim to do what you want to do, I have to mix the paint by hand because
mm,
nobody's going to make what I need in the right colors. I'll have to get this, put a dab of this and a dab of that and a dab of the other thing, and make it all match the color scheme that I've got picked out in my head for what I'm trying to do.
yeah. Like, here's the thing. Like, I will use the word easy because I know the steps it takes. So I'm practical like that. But easy isn't the same as not taking a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
So Luz will be like, "Yeah, I want to do this, this, and this." I'm like, "Yeah, that's easy enough. It's just gonna take a while." The same with the shed. Like, she wants shelving in. She wants the other half of the bookshelf put in there because right now they're just raggedy, old shelves that should not have lasted for more than 10 years in Crony already. Um, Look, we were cheap and I moved in with so little care. Um, it didn't matter, but now we need something stronger. And it's like,
Believe
yeah,
me, I was a college kid at one time. Couple of concrete blocks and uh,
exactly.
um, 1 by 12 for shelves worked just fine, as long as you didn't get absolutely drunk and fall against it.
Helps. But like, yeah, that's something that needs to be done. And she wants shelving, she wants extra logs, and she wants like I want the downstairs staircase done. Um, and those are the big things that still need to be done. And it's like I I used to be a paver. I
Yeah,
did garden decorating and the stuff like that. It's something that I have post traumatic trouble with. Um, but I'm looking at this garden and I'm like, this is not fun for our little girl. This is not fun for us to hang out in. Next year, I want to completely redo that in my own way with my own ideas. And um, but I know it takes like 2 or 3 days to get done. And this is like only 2 or 3 days. And I'm like, yeah, like we're not going to be here for a week. Like it's take the old stuff out, put sand over it, put the new stuff in, and then final decorations, which shouldn't take that long.
yeah. My trouble is I inherited my dad's uh, desire for perfection and my mom's artistic talent. So I want to be able to do all this decorative stuff on what's basically pretty simple design of, well, it's like our dining room table and the three-sided bench seat. I built those out of some scrap wood. It was a shipping crate, and it's strong as all get out. It's heavy as all get out. And over the years, I finally got to stain it the color I wanted, and then I finally got to add the trim work that I wanted. I mean, it was part of the original vision, but I didn't have the resources, I didn't have the tools, so I had to wait.
Yeah,
And Lindsay wants stuff done instantly. And I keep trying to tell her Rome was not burned in a day. Uh,
no, it's same. Um, then again, I couldn't do much. And right now, my only time off is on Mondays when Aurora goes to my mother-in-law since this
Mm-hmm.
week, and on Tuesdays when I have a ton of appointments and Aurora is off to a daycare. So those are my 2 days that I'm off, and otherwise it's whenever Aurora is taking a nap. I'm not going to use heavy machinery when my
No,
little girl is taking a nap.
no, and that's why I'm taking my time so much out with my little um, barbecue pergola. I mean, I've got the cast iron stove out there. I'm not finished putting up all the reinforcements for the stovepipe. It means I can't have walls because coal and wood burn really hot in a cast iron stove. I've got
Yes.
a charcoal grill that I built out of concrete blocks, and it's also uh, going to throw off a little bit of heat too. So I don't want to
Mhm.
enclose anything. Um, but we pulled the fan and light, the exhaust hood off of our old stove. So I've got that laying around. I'm going to paint it up to match the rest of the thing. I'm going to make an overhead cabinet to attach that to right over the charcoal grill. I had to decide what size everything was going to
Mhm.
be and how to
Draw it
connect it up
out,
to
get it
everything
ready.
else. Yep, I even drew blueprints. Um, I was a drafting student in college. Um, it's no
Look,
problem. I think
yeah.
in 3 dimensions. It's just getting the measurements right and then double checking them to make sure that you're not a
Mhm.
quarter inch off on something.
Exactly.
And working by myself because my wife is too short to help. Um, I'm actually going to have to make the tools to put everything together. So I'm going to need like a T-shaped 2x4 with a rounded bottom on it so I can get it almost exactly in place and then use my sledgehammer and tap it over till it's right exactly in place. And it's all got to be painted first because once it gets put in place, it's going to be real hard to paint the top and the inside of the cabinets.
Oh yeah.
Outside, no problem. Inside, that's going to be a tight reach. Um, Especially since I had decided not to use any extra pieces in the corners of everything, except there's got to be one in the center of the back so that I can actually fasten the back. It's going to be L brackets,
Hmm.
and I have decided that before I put the thing together, all the pieces are going to have to be painted. The uh, the horizontals on the L brackets are going to have to be screwed in place. Then I can put the back on and the sides on and have plenty of room for the drill to put the screws in. Oh, and
And the,
almost all my power tools are now battery operated.
it makes life easier.
It does not having to worry about using a circular saw and being careful you don't cut the cord in half.
Hmm.
Yeah, one of my lifelong fears. Yeah.
I yeah no, that's a bang you don't want to
Mm,
ever experience.
yeah, shocking. But no.
Exactly.
And I've got tons of battery chargers for the things. Because sometimes I'll find a deal where they'll sell you 5 or 6 different tools that use the same battery,
Hmm.
and in the same package they'll give you 2 chargers.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to have more chargers than I actually have batteries.
It, it, the thing is, like, the tools are the cheap part. It's the batteries that are expensive.
Exactly. The
But
the
then again,
batteries and replacement blades when you finally wear them out.
oh yeah, like um, Lidl here has Parkside, which is pretty cheap, and everything supposedly goes together. Supposedly, um,
It depends on the power requirements of the tools. See, I've got I now have an electric self-propelled walk-behind mower,
mhm,
and it uses the same batteries as my chainsaw and
yeah.
my leaf blower. But all the other power tools use a much smaller battery. So I'm sitting back here. I've got all the chargers plugged into an outlet strip, and I'll put every time I use them, I'll recharge them, or I'll wait till they just about go dead and recharge them because that makes them last a little longer. I think. Uh,
If it's lithium batteries, not anymore. That doesn't matter.
um, I don't know if these are lithium or not.
It should
Um,
say Li dash ion. If they're lithium ion batteries, they just go 1,000 to 2,000 charges depending on how well it's made. And that's it. Like, you can completely drain them; they don't care. If they're old batteries, sort of alkaline,
yeah,
um, they pretty much go down to 50%, and then you got to recharge them because otherwise they will die faster, and that's the problem with car batteries because they will usually be alkaline
yeah.
because they don't explode as violently if they get in a car crash.
Let's see. Yes, 18-volt lithium.
Yeah, there you go. So
Well,
you're fine. Like, you can completely drain them; they don't care. It's like your phone.
yeah. And then I've got. I think the big ones are same company. 40-volt.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, that's
We
the
don't have
ones
many of
that's the
those.
ones that the chainsaw and the leaf blower and the lawnmower use. The
So
lawnmower has two.
what they do here instead is just put two 20-volt ones on the thing. So Luz has a adorable chainsaw that works amazingly, um, and it just uses two batteries at once of 20 volts, which makes it 40 volts as well because um, they're in line instead of parallel. It works.
Yep. Now the lawnmower has an excellent design. It's got slots for two of the 40-volt batteries,
And it
but
actually balances it out, doesn't it?
no, you only
Ah,
use one at a time.
ah,
Then you pull out the safety key, turn it around backwards, and plug it back in so you use the other battery.
oh,
You
that is
can
useful.
you can drain them both dry, and they're good for about 6 to 8 hours each.
That's not bad at all.
No, I'm impressed. I am absolutely
Yeah.
impressed, and it mows really well. Except my wife has got the yard filled with flagstones, um, and I'm going, okay, well, oh wow, this thing can even shut the blade off and still be self-propelled while you're not running the blade. So I can go right over those things and on the other
Oh,
side start the blades back up. And then I've got a weed eater that uses the smaller battery, and I just walk around the flagstones and just trim it up a little bit. It's not the lightest thing in the world, but Works really well. I did a 12 by 20-foot patch in the side yard that used to be nothing but undergrowth.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the guy came in and saw the big trees down for us, we thought we were going to fall on the house. It started coming up in weeds because no grass has ever been planted there.
Mm.
So yeah, and I did that in about 30 minutes with a weed eater.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even bother to get the lawnmower out. But when we got the barn put in place, made sure there was enough room to get in between the barn
Mm-hmm.
and the hedge bushes. So you know,
So you could clean everything. Yeah.
yeah. And eventually, we've got a mixture of zoysia and centipede grass. I'm going to take plugs out and plant. It's basically golf course grass.
Ah, okay.
Doesn't grow fast, grows really thick, and even if you're too lazy to mow your yard every week, once a month don't take long, and you don't have to have everything just dragging the ground in order to get a good clean cut. It started out with one wheelbarrow load of plugs from this that my sister and brother-in-law had around their house, and it's already taken up about a quarter acre.
Hmm.
You just
Plant it down, keep it
well,
alive.
you plug out what you're trying to replace and put that in one wheelbarrow. You get the plugs of the golf course grass, put it in the hole you just made,
Yeah.
and take the wheelbarrow with the grass you didn't want, turn that upside down and stomp it down into where you plugged out the golf course grass. And eventually, the golf course grass is going to take all of that. You're only supposed to do the plugs about um, in a checkerboard pattern, each one about a foot apart. And
Yeah.
in about 2 seasons, they will grow together, except under oak trees and pine trees because the leaves and needles are too acidic.
Yeah.
They don't like that. Plus, the oak trees soak up all of the damn nutrients within 100 miles. Uh,
Yeah, they do.
I love oak trees, but it's hard to plant a garden underneath one. Got one flower bed out front. It's in a, I forget if it's a hexagon or octagon pattern around the base of the tree. Put down the landscaping cloth, filled it up with potting soil, had beautiful flower beds for 2 years. After that, the oak tree done soaked up all the nutrients.
I'm not surprised.
No, they're
Big
very hungry.
65. Yeah. Well, I'm starting to get notifications of a little girl being awake.
Well, we've done 2 hours, so it's about time for me to end the show anyway. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate
Yeah.
your company.
Always appreciated and always fun to be here. And hopefully I'll be around Sunday as well.
Oh, that would be
We'll see.
nice.
Yeah, we'll see. Luce has to. She's doing a secondhand market because she's reselling jewelry, and um, so we'll probably have to get up early Sunday as well. So we'll see.
Well, if you can make it, you can make it. If you can't, we understand.
Life happens, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have a good evening, or actually, good morning.
Yeah, no, it's going to be the rest of the day for me.
Yeah, time zones are so weird. But I will watch a few videos back here and try and get some sleep. I don't know whether I'm going to brave the bedroom or not. She's had the door shuts all day, so I don't know what's in there.
Good Godspeed, man.
Yeah, really. I'll tell you one thing. If I go to bed in there, I'm going to turn the air conditioner on because it's still almost 29 Celsius in the house.
Oof.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like warm weather, but I don't like it when I'm trying to sleep.
No, like it's the same. And I'm one of those people that only sleeps with heavy weight over the upper body. Does not help if it's 30 degrees.
No.
No.
If you got summertime heat wave weather, yeah, that's not going to be very viable right there.
Exactly. Like, and that's an improvement on this house as well. Like, it's very well insulated. They completely renovated it like 2 or 3 years ago. The attic was very warm in March and April when we were here, and now it's nice and cool. So we're doing pretty good. The only room that's really getting hot is Aurora's room. So we have to see how we can block out the sun a little more. But that's something that we're just gonna brainstorm on. And she's doing fine. Otherwise, we just don't put her in a sleeping bag, and she's good.
Yeah. Well, good night for me. Good morning for you.
Take care.
And whatever time zone the audience is in, have a good one.
Take care, lovelies. You
There
hold
it
the
is.
buttons.
I'm trying.
Transmission overload.
System will shut down. System will shut down. System will shut down. System will shut down.